it's like freedom is something beautiful, right? We all enjoy freedom so much. And we all intrinsically somewhere we feel like, we all feel, I want to be free, right? Everyone loves freedom. And the experience one has when they feel free is, I think happiness immediately follows when you're free.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's like you're just free from everything. And mostly when it comes to freedom, the images that, the most important image that comes to mind is the bird freely flying. So freedom equals to flying. And I can only fly when I'm actually with no burden. Light, yes. Only when I'm light, I can fly. So freedom equals to lightness, right? Where it's like, being absolutely light inside. And I think many, like, they say America is a free country. You experience freedom here. And that's so true. Nobody wants to be tied up towards anything. But many times we think that freedom is something that, we have this notion that something from outside shouldn't tie me inside. We think there are certain, certain things, certain people, norms, and things like that. We think they tie us. But is it true that outside, and we call them oppressions, and so we feel like, somebody's oppressing us? If somebody's trying to control a little, we don't like that. So everyone at some point wants to be free, because actually it's an intrinsic quality of the soul to be free. Naturally, the soul likes to be free. It's not just likes to be, but intrinsically, it's a quality of the soul to be light, to be free. And so I can be light and free when I'm internally, I have the awareness of being a master. Spirituality actually teaches us the real freedom, because we all celebrated our Independence Day. How do we celebrate our Independence Day? There is just joy, music, people eat, fireworks. And by the way, how many of you watch fireworks this year?
Yes.
I got to watch fireworks this year very close. But of course, I was in New Jersey, not here. New York gets very crowded. New Jersey, it was very beautiful to watch it very close. But anyway, so all of these things we do on Independence Day, there is a certain joy to be free. But how much are we free internally? That's the point. Okay, we all Independence Day, wonderful. But how much are we internally independent? So what is true freedom? Okay, how much are freedom fighters or, social reformers and all, they have created freedom for us. But are we, the question I need to ask myself, am I actually free inside? Do I experience that freedom inside? So what is actually freedom from, or freedom? Freedom is, I would say freedom is equals to no sorrow, free from bondages. Because bondage means sorrow. The moment we are in any kind of bondage, it creates a sorrow inside the soul. So think about it. How many kinds of bondage do you experience that creates sorrow?
Well, I think it starts when you are not being true to yourself, and you are doing what you think other people want you to do, or for whatever reason, you know.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's easy. Sometimes I get caught up in that. I just like to make people happy, but then it doesn't make me too happy sometimes.
Oh, that's true. It's also like, you're trying to make somebody happy, and you're so right. And so freedom from that subservience,
Yes,
you're
yes,
always trying to make others happy, and you've forgotten, am I actually, happy
exactly.
inside?
Yes,
And so at the cost of, like giving pain to my own self. And, you're trying to, give happiness to others. But that's very important to actually understand freedom from that kind of subservience, that I have. Um, so one of the most important things that we learn in spirituality, as you said, Phyllis, that, being true to yourself. And I think that's where, spirituality teaches us that freedom is actually being yourself, having the true awareness of yourself. So no subservience means being a master of the self. Mm. So identifying and knowing that I am the master. I am the master of my emotions, my feelings, my mind, the matter around me. I am the master. Identifying, that is the first step, to create the awareness, to create that shift of awareness from the body to the soul. Because when I am in the consciousness of body, of what I've acquired, then there is fluctuation, But when I shift my consciousness, shift my awareness to I being the soul, I being the master, that itself makes me light. That itself actually releases me from many kinds of bondages, many kinds of, subservience, basically. And so when I make this consciousness shift from body to soul, I'm able to actually be the master of my mind. And so freedom from my own waste thoughts, freedom from my own overthinking.
yes. That's a biggie.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we get into a bondage of our own thinking. Our own thinking makes us heavy, right? It's like losing my freedom. And we think it's because of others that I lose my freedom. I get into bondage or experience pain, but actually it's my own thinking, because I'm getting trapped. Okay, others will do what they have to do, right? Things will be out there the way it should be. Not everything can be in my control. So many think it's because of others I'm losing my freedom or lightness. That's why actually they go into isolation. They leave the world. They don't want to interact with people. Yeah? I want isolation. And so we think others are responsible. And so that's why we leave. We think when we leave this world, or when we isolate ourselves, we experience true freedom. But whatever is going on in my mind, what about that? My mind is with me, though I leave a physical place and go somewhere else, thinking that because of someone I'm experiencing such bondage, and I leave that place and I go somewhere else and I face the same thing again. But I'm not realizing actually it's that freedom I need to bring in my own thoughts, in my way of thinking.
Yes, yes.
So then, when I face the same old situations, then I'm tired of life. Or it's not about, and we say life is a roller coaster. No, it's a situations and things around us are a roller coaster. But if I remain soul conscious, or if I remain in my original state of being, as a soul, as a peaceful being, as a free being, as a loving being, when I stabilize in my original self, then there is that, lightness, there is that freedom that I would experience, right? And so the first and foremost thing is, yes, shift the consciousness from this body to I am a being, because that's where the stability is. No matter what's going on around, I'm experiencing that inner stability.
Absolutely.
And so in that stability, I know myself. I'm free. I know myself very well. I'm grounded. Mhm. So it's like when I say I'm grounded, meaning like I'm regaining my powers. And so once Gandhiji said that freedom means experiencing self-sovereignty, you being the master, experience, it's the inner freedom. Not when everything around me settles down, then I'm free, then I'm okay. No, it's not that. It's the inner freedom that I need to create. And so think about all the things that I need to be free from. So one of the things, as I said, the waste thoughts, thinking, overthinking. So most of the time, the overthinking is connected to my past. So freedom from past, right? Don't you think so? Half of the time today or last 2-3 days, remember, how was your thinking? Was it in the present or was it in the past? Mostly, how was your thinking? Or were you thinking and too much planning for the future? And
You
so,
know, I found it very powerful when I learned how to change my thoughts. I learned that I can do that now, and it's very powerful. But yet I have a hard time slowing them down. They're just so fast. Like, what do you do for that? Meditation?
the seed to actually slow down my thoughts is
That's hard.
to settle down in the awareness of I am a being. So it's like when I'm in the doing mode, I cannot slow down my thoughts. But when I switch to a being mode, then I'm able to settle. It's like I am a being, settle.
But you have to slow your body down too.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to slow down your body. Meditation, as you said. Well, meditation is what? You're carrying a set of thoughts that is creating peace and lightness inside you. It's creating that healing inside you, is that meditation. So you have to learn to be, that's meditation, right? So from doing mode, you're switching into being mode. And so when you switch your awareness, and that's the seed, that's the seed about your own awareness, about your own self. I am a being. So be yourself. So as a being, I'm free. As a being, I am peace. As a being, I am light. Because when I be, I'm touching the intrinsic qualities of the soul. Right. When I'm being, I'm touching the intrinsic qualities of the soul. I go back to my original qualities of the soul. Who is a soul? I am a soul. So the moment I just say I'm a being, I'm touching my core qualities. And so when I be, all my thoughts actually come down. Right? But in the doing mode, I even forget how much am I thinking. And many times we sit in our past a lot. This happened, that happened, this shouldn't be happening, that shouldn't be happening. So that is also like a bondage. So after an action has happened, then I'm thinking about it over and over. So that's like the mind is in a bondage. And remember, whenever I'm in a bondage, that means subservience. I lost my freedom. I'm caught in something. I'm caught in the jail of my own thoughts. So I, the soul, I present myself in the cage of my mind.
That's hard. I find that hard. To
That's
break.
why I'm saying that the root is the seed of your slowing down your thoughts is your awareness of being a peaceful being.
Yes, I know someone once said to be aware of your awareness. I found that very powerful too. I think it's kind of like what you're saying,
Right.
being aware of who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So slow down and go to your own intrinsic self. It's like, what creates peace in me? Be that. Hmm? Okay. So, yeah, it's like, going back to that being, meaning creating the thoughts of what makes me, what is that I want to be internally? What is that I am internally? That creates that freedom. So that's the first and foremost thing, to switch my depleting thoughts. And so freedom from past helps me from overthinking. Literally helps. The moment I'm going into any kind of thoughts from the past, I have to stop myself. I have to become the master. So that's that's another seed. So self-awareness is the seed. I'm a being and I'm a master. I'm the creator. And so when I sit in that creator mode, then I have that control over my thoughts. I have to go, but I am the master and I don't want to go into this past. I don't want to think about it. That's it. Full stop. And so the third awareness also that helps me is that become just a point, little point of light. I'm just a point. Just bring all the expansion into a point. And I am the master and I have the power to do that. The only thing is I have to remember to do. Right? I have to remember to do it, to become a point. I have to say, all this is expansion. I have to come back to a point. So, as I said, being helps. That's the seed. I'm the master. I'm the creator of my thoughts. I have the power. That helps. Right? I'm a point, and all the expansion, I bring it to one point. So all these practices will actually make me free from my overthinking. And this overthinking can become chronic sometimes. I get into this habit of overthinking. So one other thing about, freedom is also freedom from desires. That is another big thing. Freedom from desires. We create so many desires inside us. I want this, I want that. We're overloaded with desires, and we all run holding those desires. Even when we connect to God, we connect with a desire. Desires have become powerful than what I am, because my whole focus, it's like, it's not that I am riding the horse is riding me. The horse is taking me. Right. So it's like the horse is my desires. The desires are giving me that. And so freedom from desires is another biggest freedom one can experience. Be free from desires. The moment the desire is driving you, it's like I become subservient to my desire. And then I'm running like in a rat race, not knowing where even I'm going. And desires create so much of disappointment. It takes away our entire freedom. So living in the present moment. So it's not that, should I be passive, then should I not plan? No, I'm not talking about that. You plan things, you work towards it. But then what I'm saying is, sometimes our whole focus, our life is too overambitious towards achieving one desire. And that drives us, and that's creating a lot of, I'm losing the present moments. And so, as I said, even when we go to God, we're going with the desire of I want, rather than experiencing God. I'm actually driven to connect to God with a desire. So I go to God with a desire. And so I forget completely to experience God. Right? So in the same way, when I'm driven by desire, it's like I forget to experience life. So even today, many times, even if somebody is practicing, doing a few days of meditation or whatever, like if they're going, to a temple, or if they're doing some ritual, it's like somewhere there is a hidden desire. I want to actually accomplish this. I want to actually fulfill this desire. And so, can I be desire free and experience God? And this is where also another aspect of freedom comes, freedom from asking. Always I'm asking everyone, my hands are like this, give. I'm always trapped in this bondage of asking, expectations, or expectations is one thing, but asking literally, even like, desires and asking. You go to God and ask, but God says that I am the ocean. I am the ocean of love. I am the ocean of peace. And so do we go to ocean and ask for water? Remember last time when you went to the ocean, the mighty, beautiful Atlantic Ocean. When you go to the ocean, what is the feeling you have? As soon as you step on that beach, you're seeing this mighty ocean, and your heart opens to this freedom. You want to touch the water, you want to play with the water. At the same time, you're just overwhelmed with this, mighty ocean, right? The waves and the beauty of it overwhelms the soul. And if you go early mornings to the ocean, how beautiful it is. The pleasantness, the silence, it's just beautiful. And just see how, like my whole feeling changed when I'm thinking about this ocean. And God is that, ocean of love. ocean of peace, and we completely forget. We bring ourselves into such limitation when we connect to God, right? We limit ourselves to such an extent. We forget how mighty He is. We forget, you know, that He's this beautiful being, and we ask for one drop, but just go and play with that ocean of love. You know, I don't even have to ask the ocean, give me. It looks very foolish to go to the ocean and say, I have to collect some water. No, you know, you just dive into it. You just, and think about it. Okay, you know, very, very few actually go into the depths of ocean, right? Many play at the surface or, with the waves of ocean, but very, very, very handful know the tact to actually go into the middle of the ocean or into the depth of the ocean. And they find all wonderful things, of course, they explore. In the same way, many of us we are on the surface when we connect to God. We're just a little wave. Oh, wonderful God, thank you. But somewhere there is a desire, and we are so pulled to ask God, God, do this. Somewhere there is this feeling internally. But can we put our asking and our desires aside and just connect to that mighty, beautiful ocean of peace? And very, very few actually dive into that peace and experience God as He is. And that's freedom. That's freedom. To really just to be with that beautiful one. And in that experience, the soul doesn't need anything. It's like all the desires are fulfilled. I have everything. That's the experience being with God. But many of us we are not going into that ocean because we're in the limitations. Because we are not still free from asking. We are not still free from desires. We connect to God with that desire. So experiment. Free yourself from all desires. Tell yourself, I have everything. I'm free. And with that freedom, connect to God. And you see the experience the soul has connecting to that mighty, beautiful one. And just think visualize even now, if you're watching an ocean of peace, the whole ocean is just made with peace. Visualize the whole ocean is just love. It's like when you play with that ocean, you're experiencing love. You're all becoming, full of love. So that's what is God. And we actually underestimate God somewhere. He's only there to fulfill my limited desires. He's there, okay, do this little thing. Okay, God, I'm in the train. Please let the train go fast so that I can read. Yes, he's sitting there to make the train go faster. So this is also like, freedom from impatience, no? We become impatient with so many things in our life. We become very impatient. We think, no, this has to be this way. This has to be this way. But can I live with that, freedom from that impatience of the way things should be or my way? Let it be, let the drama unfold. And these things are very subtle. These things are very, very subtle because these are all at the thought level that we get caught up. Impatience is at the thought level. Internally, it's like we're getting impatient. Like this has to be like this. Oh, this needs to be done at this time. So look, just think, when we are in the bondage of impatience, we lose our powers. Any bondage will make me lose my power, meaning at that point, I'm not no more self-sovereign. I'm completely becoming a subservient, a servant, basically, to everything around me, right? A subservient to even for the train to go fast. Or sometimes impatient with what's going on with our own physical body, right? If something happens to our physical body. So bondage, even freedom from the pain of our own physical body, what our physical body is going through, how much of control do we have? Okay, the control is that I can take the right prescription, whatever doctor told me, taking the meds on time, taking care of the body. But the pain is my choice, really. The soul, how much I, the soul, want to experience the pain or be in the pain. If I realize that I, the master, I have the choice of suffering and not suffering. This is true. Because it's the body going through, but I, the soul, I still have the freedom to suffer or not suffer. So I can divert my mind, or I can, do the right things to heal the body. I remember, there was this lady many years ago. She had, I think, about 5 tumors in her brain. And doctors could only take out one. They couldn't touch the others because not sure what will happen. So 4 were left. And so she survived, I think, for 3 years. But I tell you, honestly, every time I went to meet her, and I asked her, how are you? She used to say, I'm okay. She never cried what her body was going through. She always tried and kept herself happy. Honestly, And that's what I remember her last days, her cheerful face. And after sometime after her surgery and after a few days, when I went to see her in rehab, she passed. She was sitting and she was there. I actually, passed her and I could not identify her because her body structure, everything changed. I couldn't identify her. And she was waving at me and I thought, who is this waving? And I paused, I stopped and I went closer to her and it was her. And that shook me off, that made me feel like, wow. But she had such a cheerful face. She was happy that I came to see her and no sorrow, not a little bit of sorrow she had. So that's what it is. Freedom from suffering. It's my choice. Do I want to suffer? And I don't want to suffer. So freedom from this pain of this body. It's a big thing. I know you may say, how is it possible, sister? But that's what being actually helps. Go back to the root. Go back to the seed that we spoke. And the seed is the soul consciousness. The seed is being stabilizing in the consciousness of I, the being, I, the point, I, the light. I'm that lightness. I have to go back to that being, the real me, the real self, the master, the self-sovereign being. That's the key. I have to keep going back to my real awareness. And so another type of freedom is freedom from, expectations or outcome. So whenever we perform an action, we are always, even before we perform an action, we are, we tangle ourselves in the outcome of that action. I want this from this. And so it's like I cage myself. Okay, I perform an action, I have a certain, thought towards that action, but not a bondage of outcome. Because freedom from outcome is also important. Otherwise, what happens is I perform an action, and after the action, I'm thinking, I shouldn't have done that. So the outcome is actually affecting me. It's not letting me be free. It's caging me. And what we spoke about, freedom from past, that's what it is. I'm actually going back into the past of I shouldn't have done that. What happened? It should have been like this. So we all are again, driven by outcomes, our actions. So the right way of doing in spirituality, we learn, I being the master, I perform the action. And then when I am in soul consciousness, or I am the master when I perform the action, I am not result oriented. Result oriented means obsessed actually by that result. And that outcome is actually troubling me. And then I'm going into the past and I'm regretting. Sometimes there are regrets. And that's why in spirituality, we learned that when you are performing an action, be the master and perform. Be a detached observer and perform. Right? And also sometimes it's important, think before I do. Like there is an expression in Hindi, it's called soch samajh ke karo. Soch samajh ke karna, meaning like, think and understand before you do. And sometimes, we rush into the action, we do it because it's also about freedom from reactions. This is where reactions come. We react. And so that is another subservience. We react to things a lot, right? So quickly we jump into the conclusions and reactions. And so we rush to the action. We don't pause, we don't slow down, think, we don't understand what will be the consequence of this action. But then I just perform it. So after I perform, then we do a reverse. We put the reverse gear. That is, I understand I haven't done right. I shouldn't have done like this. And then we keep thinking about it. So it's like after karna, we samajna and then sochna. Actually, it has to be the other way. I have to think before I do. Think, understand what I'm doing, and then I do. And so you may say, sister, we don't have so much of time. But then that's not good, right? Then that means we are becoming subservient to our actions. So sometimes, we are angry about something, an email comes and I want to reply then and there very quickly. So we get very aggressive and then we shoot an email as a response. So what will be our email like? A reactive email, right? Like a bomb we are throwing on them. So this is where, the other day somebody was sharing that, sometimes when an email disturbs me, I type the email quickly, but then I don't send. It's like I went out, I remove all my frustration on that email, but I don't send, I wait. And then when I slow down, I delete that email. And then again, I'll think about it and write a proper email. So this is important to do. Sometimes we are so reactive. So freedom from those reactions is important, because then we are saying things we shouldn't be saying. Because once I say something, then I cannot take back my words, no? Even I say sorry, but that person will remember, you said this. Mm. So freedom from reactions, again, think, understand before I perform an action. It's not that after I perform an action, I'm thinking about the outcome. So that is freedom, actually, again. So again, thinking means slowing down. Slow down. Before even we want to respond to anyone, in any way, slow down. I don't have to jump and say things. Slow down, understand what will be the consequence, then I do. So again, this freedom from the bondage of outcome. You know, let me be that master, and in peace, let me do things. Again, each and every aspect that we are talking is a practice. It's not theory, right? It needs a lot of attention to practice this. A lot of attention. So, any more freedoms that you want to mention? Anything that, you know, which you think internally, yes, I need to be free from this? And remember, as we spoke in the beginning of the session, that freedom means lightness, happiness. So bondage means sorrow. So anything that is bringing your internal state of mind down, it's depleting your energy or it's causing you sorrow, that's what I need freedom from. Say, if I have a sensitive nature, freedom from sensitive nature, freedom from feeling, that emotional imbalance, right? Sometimes we are like, touch me not. Somebody says something, immediately we take it to the heart. So I need to like free myself from that sensitive nature. And that keeps rotating in my mind for days and months and years, right? So again, I'm the master. The master is not sensitive, right? So free yourself. If my sensitive nature is giving me sorrow, if it creates that hurt and dis-ease inside me, I need to free myself. So how do I free myself? So these awarenesses, as I said, and also it's a practice. Like I would say, keep a chart. You know, how do I free myself from these things? Say, for example, if today I got impatient about something, keeping a chart will actually help. Like at the end of the day, you know, write a journal every single day, or keep a chart, meaning check yourself. A few things that you fall into the trap every time. So what is that trap you fall into every time that hurts you or gives you that pain or sorrow or subservience or bondage? So pick a few things that repeatedly goes on inside, right? Repeatedly say, I have the habit of getting angry or frustrated with little things. And that's my weakness inside. And that's depleting my energy. Every time I get angry and I yell at someone or I say wrong things, I'm angry. What am I experiencing? Sorrow, literally sorrow. I'm giving pain to myself. So bondage is giving pain to my own self, right? And so I need to pick the things that I feel I need to be free from, create a chart. Every night before you go to bed, check yourself. Did I get into the trap of this emotion today? So the real freedom is becoming free from these emotions.
Still, can I add one more freedom, if it is okay?
Yes.
Freedom from family attachment. Is it okay?
That's a big thing.
Yes.
But
Challenging.
Yeah, but not isolating, but
Yes.
freedom from attachment to our bondages, but not
Yeah.
relationship. No, there is a difference. Like when I'm attached, it's like a bondage. Then if my family member is in sorrow, immediately I pick up that sorrow. If they are in worry, their pain becomes my pain. That's attachment. So it's not about isolating, but I'm actually every time, replacing that with the awareness of each one being a soul, and with the feelings of love. Because, this is what, like, I think a few days ago, we were talking about this, that with outsiders, I'm fine. But when it comes to our family members, we are more reactive. If you've
Yes.
noticed, we become more impatient with them. We want to fix them immediately. We become more, we take a lot of sorrow, right? And we want to correct them immediately. It happens more with our family members than outsiders. Just think about a scenario somebody experiencing a child who is not yours and your child. If both are experiencing the same scenario, what would your reaction be towards the child who is not yours, and towards your child? The reaction will be more towards my child. I become more impatient towards my child. I want to fix my child quickly. Why? Because there is attachment, bondage, because that's quickly giving me sorrow, right? It's reactions are very quick in attachment. So yes, this is a big subject of freeing myself from attachment and seeing others as soul, seeing others also a soul who is playing their own part, sharing love, but not sharing sorrow, sharing love. And I know this is a big subject, but I have to do, because this is a reality. This is a reality that I don't own anyone.
So
And you see, in a family, there are four members, and everyone has their own way of thinking, their own way of feeling, their own way of emotions, their own journeys. Everyone has their own journey. What I'm experiencing, the other one, my part is different from the other one. But so spirituality really teaches us, because every soul has their journey. But today I'm caught, like I am catching somebody's part very tightly, thinking that I own this person. But really, to say I don't own anyone. And that's why, a lot of parents actually take a lot of sorrow from children. My children.
we say dukha sukha share karna, dukha sukha परिवार का के साथ दुख सुख शेयर करना.
So it's like,
yes,
now I have to change that and say that I want to experience happiness and I want to share happiness. But if I am in sorrow always, that's what I'm sharing. I don't want to share sorrow with my family members. No, personally, really, I don't want to share. Meaning, I don't want to share sorrow in the sense, it's like, first of all, when there is sorrow, I want to quickly change it. Transform it. I want to do something that that helps me to remove that sorrow and create that happiness. I mean, think about parents. No, do you share your sorrow with your children? No, you always think, let my children be happy. Anybody, if you really think, you don't want to share, you don't want to give that sorrow, I'm suffering, you also suffer with me. No. With our family members, we are more careful. Like, in sharing our sorrow. Like, we want to share more happy moments. We want them to be happy. So this is where love aspect comes. So yes, freedom from attachment is when I have the awareness that I don't own anyone. Everyone has their own journey. I'm here to share love. I'm here to share happiness. That's how relationships flourish. So yes, attachment, free from attachment, not only relationships, many things that we are attached to that creates sorrow inside us. Yes, brother, definitely free from attachment for sure. And so yes, any other freedom? Another aspect is also freedom from blaming others, no? Like we spoke in the beginning, because of you, I'm in sorrow. Because of you, like blaming others. Sometimes children or anybody, recently I was hearing someone like, child doesn't want to be at home. The child has his own life. But the parents keep trying and taking a lot of sorrow, experiencing a lot of sorrow. But not sometimes, a pure detachment is necessary. Pure detachment comes from soul consciousness. If I try to hold every relationship or everything very tight, it's not possible. Then I'm giving myself a lot of sorrow. When I'm experiencing sorrow, I cannot give happiness to others.
So I agree with you. There's a lot of blaming culture in our society. Culture of blaming.
Yeah. So this is another freedom. That's right. Freedom from blaming others for not experiencing, my own freedom. Like I am, binding myself in these emotional disturbances with my own thinking, and I'm blaming others. But always, if there is a roller coaster out there, it's a chance for me to internally every time fix. Every time if I'm going wrong somewhere, it's a chance for me to check inside and fix myself, to turn inwards and fix. Every time I'm having an emotional disturbance, it's a chance for me to fix. It's not about blaming others, because others become sometimes a mirror for me to change. So freedom from blaming others is another. Anything else that comes to your mind? Any other freedoms? A lot, right? As a freedom from all these negativities, freedom from greed.
From guilt, Sister Madhvi.
A freedom
I
from
always
what?
feel guilty, I don't know why.
Very good. That's a big one. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, freedom from guilt.
Guilt, yeah.
Wow, we do something.
Even when I'm not wrong, I would feel that, yes, I did something wrong.
Yes. That's a very important one. Yes, freedom from guilt. Not holding on to that guilt and self-blame also, right? Self-blame and that guilt, self-doubt, all this doubting myself, not experiencing that strength. See, all of this is like becoming subservient. And so I was talking about chart, right? Put a chart, keep a chart, every day checking yourself. Did I do this again? Like you just spoke about guilt, right? So I need to check myself. Did I feel guilty? So I need to actually check why. So I need to free myself every time, no, I am the master. And also connecting to God helps me to release, let go of these emotional imbalances, emotional disturbance. As I said, connecting to God is the most beautiful freedom one can experience. So knowing myself, stabilizing in my original self, of being and connecting to God creates that real freedom inside me. You know, connect to God, really connect to that source. And that's a beautiful feeling. Not again, don't connect again with a desire, right? Free yourself. I'm just here to experience you. That's it. And that gives the strength for me to free myself from many things. So yes, guilt is one thing. So journal every night. If you have a repetitive habit, journal, put a chart and check yourself how much, help yourself to conquer that, to free yourself. So when a bird needs to fly, if a bird is holding on to the branch, what do we tell the bird? Let go, let
Leave the
go,
branch.
right?
Yeah,
We say,
yeah.
let's go, fly, you have wings. So in the same way, God also says, yes, he has given us the wings to fly. We have the wings, but sometimes we are so tight. We are just, we forget that we have wings. And so we are holding on to the branch so tightly and we keep shouting at God, help me, help me. He says, you're the one who is holding.
Holding branch, yeah.
You're shouting at me, help me, help me. So he says, if you let go, you fly. So like in Hindi, there is a saying, chodo to chute, right? So it's like you release it, you let go of it, you release it, and you fly. So freedom is flying like a bird with beautiful wings opened, and we already have those wings God has given us. Connect to that beautiful ocean of love, the one who frees us from all the bondages, all the limitations, and he liberates us. And so just being yourself is self-sovereignty. So each one of us, God created us as self-sovereigns, but we ourselves get into a lot of bondages, which we need to check and change and let go the branch and fly. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
So thoughts before we close? So now we heard, and the next step is practice. But this is good, right? Like, it just reinforces these thoughts, like creates that, new energy in our mind to do something different. And usually, wait a minute. So, yes. So no thoughts. And it's good. I mean, it's okay if you don't have thoughts.
Yes, it's a relief.
It's a relief, that's right.
People have a wrong, meaning about the freedom. Freedom, we are free to do anything. That's it, they're taken a wrong way. But actually, real freedom is to do good thing, good action, go to the right path. So these are the real freedom.
That's a very good point. That's right. Freedom, we take it the wrong way and we say that I'm free to do this. I'm free to be angry. I'm free to get upset. Can I not get upset? I'm free to cry. This is how we say, right? Yeah. We use freedom for things that create sorrow in us, but that's not freedom. Freedom is definitely to do the right things that gives the soul happiness and also happiness to others. And sometimes in the name of freedom, we're actually causing a lot of disturbance to others. I'll do whatever I want, but I'm not realizing how others are getting hurt or disturbed, and so that's not freedom again. So that actually I'm, creating a lot more bondage a lot more, disturbance to myself and others. So freedom in the right sense.
Mm.
Be free in the right sense. Yeah. Okay, so wonderful. Thank you all.